This video is talking about java.lang package. In fact, this lang package is imported by default by Java runtime environment. You need not write any import statement to include the classes whatever is available in lang package. If you remember, whatever programs we have created, those programs have something called a string class, system class, and of course by the time we did not mention that import java.lang.that system or import java.lang.string, that we haven't mentioned, but still we have been using those classes. Means that these classes are available to that program by default with the help of JRE. JRE is actually make this package available to the entire environment, entire program. And in this java.lang package, there are different classes. Let me explore this package. Here is the package, right? I explore this particular package, java.lang package. These are all the interfaces that we have, and these are all the classes: boolean, byte, character, double, float, integer, long, number, object. So like this, we have several classes, right? And of course, we have enum and some sort of exceptions, right? Okay, let's look at few of these classes. Here we are going to concentrate first on object class. Okay, object class is the super class or the parent class for all the classes in the class hierarchy. Whether you define or the class which is defined by defined in the API, for all of these particular classes, object is the super class for them. Okay, and there are several methods in object class where these methods we can use without having knowledge of or without using the instance of them. Okay, let me explore object class. Here in the object class is the root of class hierarchy. In object class we have different methods. Okay, methods like equal, clone, finalize, and something called toString. Okay, so few more methods available. Let me focus on the methods which are very useful. Okay, clone is the method used to create a clone copy of the object, and it returns an object which is of protected type. Okay, means that within the packages it is possible. Yeah, and of course we use this toString method at the time of wrapper classes. Let's look at wrapper classes. Okay, there are different wrapper classes available in lang package. In fact, wrapper classes are designed for implementing the primitive data types. Okay, or they are working around primitive data types, I can say. Okay, these are all useful for situations where primitive data types cannot be used, but their corresponding objects are required. In those situations we use it. Normally we use these wrapper classes for converting string into concerned data type, or reverse, like concerned data type to string. Okay, just like string, wrapper objects are immutable, means that once the object is created, it cannot be destroyed or it cannot be changed, right? When you change it, that object vanish and a new object is placed instead of the old one. Okay, a new object is initialized whenever you change the value whatever is there in that particular object. That's why we call it as immutable object. Okay, so the wrapper classes are boolean, byte, character, double, float, integer, long, short, void. These are all the classes available corresponding primitive data types. Okay, let's look at how do we use these wrapper classes and primitive data types together. Okay, so I said earlier, these wrapper classes help us in converting the objects into some sort of primitive types, and object into string object, or variable into some string variable. Okay, or a string object. Let's look at these conversions, right? So you want to convert a primitive data type to wrapper. Okay, let me write a simple program on this class. public static void main string args of. Within this, I am creating a variable like int x equal to 20. Okay, and I want to create an object integer space something like count or any variable name, dummy variable number equal to new integer of x. Okay, so here x is an integer variable whereas num is an integer object. Okay, that's the basic difference. And you want to convert this particular number into a string, then you can, with the help of a string str equal to, okay, integer dot, yeah, you want to convert it into a string integer num dot to string of, where this will be converted into a string. Okay, so here x is a primitive data type whose value is 20, num is an object which stores 20 as the integer, and str is a string which stores 20, but 20 here is the string. Okay, like this we can convert an integer primitive type into an integer object, and of course that integer object you can convert it into some sort of string object. Okay, and you can do it reverse, like I want to convert it into some integer variable, integer object, reference object m. Okay, num1 or else. That time you have to convert the string into integer, no? So integer dot parse int of, that time you have to pass a string. This returns integer. Okay, that integer is handled by an integer object. Now I want to declare one variable like int y equal to num1 dot int value of. Okay, if you say this, x is an integer variable and this become an object now, integer object. Next it become a string object. Again we'll reverse it, right? Like that string is converted into some sort of integer object. That integer, from that integer object we fetch the integer variable and assign it to y. If you print like system dot out dot println of x, you will get 20. Okay, the value of x is plus x. Yeah, and you want to know system dot out dot println of num dot int value of. Okay, you will get the value of this, and then str, and then num1 dot int value of, yeah, and then y. Yeah, so integer is converted into integer object, that converted as a string, that converts again back as integer object, then integer object to integer variable. Let's look at this program. Yeah, you will get 20 all the time. Okay, here is an example which demonstrate how to convert a integer primitive type into integer object to string object, again string object back to integer object to an integer primitive type. In the same way, you can work with float, you can work with byte, you can work with short, you can work with double, whatever data type you want to work you can. Okay, Only thing is you should know how to convert from one type to other type. Yeah. Here in this presentation we do talk about the same. When you want to convert primitive type into a wrapper object, here value of int is an object. Okay, this object is created with the help of integer wrapper class by passing integer variable. Okay, like that float, double, long. And you want to convert wrapper objects to primitive types. Okay, like exactly reverse. Then you can simply writing that object name dot int value of, you want to get whatever integer value stored in that object, you want to get it back, you can with the help of this method, like that float value, long value, double value. You want to convert an integer object into a string object, then you can with the help of integer dot toString, that integer object dot toString, float object dot toString, double object dot toString, long object dot toString. Yeah, if you say this, here is the example for the same. Yeah, here we have a number num object, okay, and we convert it into string. So if you want to convert in float, yes you can, double you can, long you can. Yeah, you want to convert back from string object to primitive types directly, that is possible. Int v equal to integer dot parseInt of xyz, where xyz is a string. Here we do it in a little more detail, like num1 dot int val, here integer dot parseInt of str is the string, no, that string is actually written, it returns integer value. When you return integer value, either you can use int y equal to integer dot parseInt of str, or you can write integer space num1 equal to integer dot parseInt of string. Okay, either or is okay. I practice it in a specific order, integer to integer object to string, from string back to integer object, and integer object to integer variable. Yeah, so later on converting primitives represented by string to wrappers. Okay, like I have an integer object, that integer object equal to integer dot value of xyz. So these are all about wrapper classes. Let's look at auto boxing and auto unboxing. It's a very easy concept. Let me demonstrate that with the help of a simple example. Let me write, I have an integer variable like int x, where x equal to, let's say, 20. Okay, and you can write integer space y equal to, you can write simply x. Here x is what? X is an primitive data type. Y is an integer reference variable. This integer primitive type directly assigned with an object, no? So this is what we call auto boxing. It becomes an object, or this y is actually a reference variable which becomes an object when you assign a primitive data type. Okay. In the same way, just let me print it out. System dot out dot println of y is let me compile this. Y is 20, successfully completed. Let's see, x is declared, y is declared, and of course y is assigned with something like 30, 34 or something, right? And we can directly assign x equal to y, and you can print x. Here x is what? X is a primitive variable, primitive data type. It's a variable, integer variable, but we assign an object to a primitive variable. Okay, here you can write it like this, new integer of 34. Yeah, this is what we call auto unboxing. Here the object is assigned with an integer variable or a primitive data type. That time auto unboxing happen, and whatever value stored in that particular object is assigned with the corresponding primitive data type variable. This is all about auto boxing and auto unboxing. In fact, this auto boxing unboxing concept introduced in the version JDK 5. Okay. Next class we will see string classes.